Mackay, get out, catch. Yes, good man. Ouse. Yes, Mackay, get out. Yes, good man. Ouse. Yes, Mackay, get out. There you go. Come on, King. You can do it. Ouse. Yes, Mackay, get out. You got it. Yeah, there we go. Ouse. Yes, Mackay, get out. Yeah, good work. Good work, handsome. Yes, wait. Yes, ouse. Yes. Yes, ouse. Yes, wait. What? Oh, ouse. Yes. Yes, good man. Ouse. Yes, wait. Yes, good man. Great work, King. Great work. Come here, handsome. Ouse. Yes. Ouse. Yes, wait. And we'll do it over here. Hey, hey, hey. Come on, Dick. Come here. King. Ouse. Yes. Ouse. Yes, wait. Top. Good man. That's it, buddy. Yeah, way to do that. Ouse. Yes. Right here. Come on. Ouse. Wait. Top. Yes. Good man. Whoa. Where did that come from, handsome? Ouse. Yes. Wait. Top. Oh, that wasn't it. Are you ready? Come on. Right there. Top. Good man. Good man. Ouse, catch. Yes, good man. Ouse, over. Good. Ouse, catch. Yes, good. Ouse, over. Good man. Ouse, catch.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I am here. Our internet was not working. And it's been a little stressful. But we're here. I think it's working. If you guys could let me know, that would be super terrific. Hopefully my audio is working well and you guys can hear me. So what's going on? Ooh, great sessions in Colorado, Sydney. That's from last week. So yeah, I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I'll probably go over a little bit of Kinevin framework. Some sense making in DiscDog, and I don't know, don't have much else, so kind of depending on you, chat, depending on you. What's going on with the busted cam? Is anyone here? Nobody here? All right. So yeah, we had a great event last week, or Sunday, 2 days ago. It was pretty awesome. The Positive Vibe Spooky Jam. We had Updog games, freestyle, four-way play, time warp, greedy, and frizzagility. And it was pretty awesome. Ellie whipped up or ordered some super awesome ribbons. They were pretty impressive. Lots of people remarked on the ribbons. But yeah, it went well. Weather was good. Our time was good. We were pretty much 25 teams per hour roughly, so that was pretty awesome. So yeah, I don't know. What's going on, guys? I might be doing a little bit of whatchamacallit here, echo. Might have some echo going on. I'm going to turn on my headphones here. If I can. Come on. Do. All right, so this will be the last test with the GoPro here. I have a GoPro with the media mod. I have a GoPro webcam, and we have... we had the EpiCam there, the busted cam. And this camera here is running on NDI, which is pretty awesome. It's a network video system. I have another NDI tool coming, which is going to enable us to do some pretty amazing... I might be able to live stream with my drone, which would be super awesome. But we're tightening things up, trying to get it together. And where's Chad at? Why aren't you guys here? Come on. All right. So turn that off. Oh, yeah, gotta get this down. That's cool. Ace of Hogan. Where is Ace of Hogan? You should be here, Ace of Hogan. Let's see. So we'll go to the old DiscDog alchemy setup here. Uh-oh, that is not working. Oh. Turn that up just a little. So yeah, it's a good day to jam, and it's a good day to talk about how we make sense of what's going on in dog frisbee. So this here is a super simple breakdown of how we make decisions and how a situation set up. The two things on the right, complicated and clear, those are ordered systems. Those are places where we know what's happening and we're competent and confident in what's going on. And then over on the left, funny, Ace of Hogan's still hanging out. Over on the left are the unordered domains, complex and chaos. And that complex domain is where we spend, I think, most of our time in dog frisbee. It isn't until everything is laid out perfectly and perfectly understood by dog, handler, and team. We kind of miss that a lot. We don't take into account those three attributes. We tend to move fluidly between them and think of them as the same thing. And they're not. The dog needs to know what's happening. Let me see, can I pull up? The dog needs to know what's happening. The handler needs to know what's happening. And then the team needs to know what's happening. Come on, we can do this. I'm going to try and blow this up. One more stretch ought to do it. Nope, got to do more for you guys. That is, come on, we can do it. Oh, son of a pup. It's such a pain in the rear, man. And then pull it over there, pull it all the way up. And That's about as good as I'm going to get it. So funny. So where you at, chat? Where are you? Okay, so here in the complicated area, we have the things that the dog needs to know: the trick, the trigger. Man, this is just not going to work. I have to screen share in there. So give me a second. Let me rejigger this. Just need to pull up an image here. Pretty cool. I've whipped up so many of these Cynefin framework there we go. Now we're talking. All right, so let me screen share this. Boom, and we will turn on that screen share. Boom, and I will switch it to the other Safari. Bang! Now we should be able to see. Yeah, now we're talking. And you'll be able to see what I point at here. So let me move this. We'll move it. Get it out of there. And I think I now have to do that. Just like that. All right. Now I think I'm happy. So, as I was saying, dog handler and team need to know all of the skills in order for our Frisbee stuff to be ordered, to be under control, and to have like full constraints or governing constraints over what we're doing. And we totally want to have governing constraints over what we're doing. We want to have complete control over what we're doing. But we can't just want it. We have to make it happen. And most of the time, the reason that we don't make it happen is that either the dog, the handler, or the team are not up to speed on one of the pieces that we're working. So here we have the dog needs to know the trick, the trigger, the weight, attention, pressure. The dog has to know how those things work and has to be able to respond appropriately to each of those things. The handler needs to know the trick, the trigger, the cue, pressure, position, how to pose, how to block. And the handler not only needs to be able to do those things, but needs to know how those things work in order to impose governing constraints over the game and to have control over what's happening out there. And if the handler doesn't have one of those aspects, shit falls apart. And then we have the team. The team also needs to know the trick, the trigger, the cue, the how to wait, attention, and pressure. And if the dog knows it and the handler doesn't, the team is in trouble. If the handler knows it and the dog doesn't, the team is in trouble. If the handler knows it and the dog knows it, and for some reason the team hasn't put it together or is not executing properly, maybe the handler wants to do, like, I want to do the thing. I want it to be exciting and I want it to be awesome. I want it to happen. and then the handler doesn't perform as a teammate. The handler is kind of sacrificing the team play for the handler's desires. Same thing happens with the dog. So in order for us to have control over what's happening on these sequences, our routine, the drop cue, all of those things, the dog, handler, and team need to know how that works. And I think a lot of times we short circuit that and don't make that happen. We do that because we want to play, and it's working. It's working, right? Like, the dog is doing it. I'm able to do it. But doing it is not all of it, right? Doing it is not. You have to know what you're doing, how you're doing it, how it works, right? Because somewhere along the line, we're going to run into trouble. And when we run into trouble, then we have to rely on the dog, handler, and team having a bunch of good practices that are perfect, under stimulus control, in order to maintain control and to keep governing constraints on the game. So the complicated domain is where good practices happen. It is also it's where we want to be with everything. Oh, somebody, Guillermo, hola, hey, hello from St. Louis, center of the disc dog world. So the complicated area is where we want to be all the time. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of us are there all the time. Epi and I are there a lot. We're not there all the time. And Epi and I are pretty solid. We communicate well. I spend a lot of time trying to get that to happen. But we're not there all the time. Down here in the lower part of the ordered domains, we have the clear domain, which is where this is the domain of best practices and like complete constraints. These are the things that we set it and forget it. So we have best practices, which are essentially like there's one way to do it. This is the best practice. When we have a sit, the best practice for a positive trained sit is to put a cookie in front of the dog's face and do a J thing and have the dog look up. And when the dog looks up, they sit. And that's a best practice. And that's awesome. It works. It is super terrific. But what happens if it doesn't work? What do you do? Right? The problem with the clear domain is that we tend to take it for granted, and we don't spend a lot of time maintaining those skills. We just expect them to happen. And they do, because they're clear and they're simple. They're very obvious to everybody what's happening. And Ace of Hogan! Very clear to everybody. And that's pretty awesome, right? But within Frisbee, lots of moving parts. Dog is running, handler's running, discs are in the air, wind is going on. Dog misses a disc, the disc, flutters away. Now the dog is approaching from a different position. If we have everything down to a complete best practice, our whole routine, odds are we're going to do it really well. But again, what happens if it doesn't work? How do we recover? There's not a lot of recovery from the clear domain, from super simple stuff. Some of the things within the disc and within the clear domain, things that should be very clear to the dog and handler, that are required for us to be successful up here when things get complicated, when we link tricks together, when we are running kind of on the edge of where we're able to run, right? You have to have disc dog mechanics, bite, drop, give. You have to have flat work. And, you know, you might not dig flat work. So clock and counter, you're probably missing one of those if you don't dig flat work. You have to be able to stop your dog. You have to be able to tell your dog, hey, we're going to throw out here. We're going to make a pat or a flanking toss. You're coming this way, and I'm going to throw it over there. And we have to be able to communicate, you know, to bum rush me and pass me and to perform a pass. Front cross, you have to have a front cross in dog frisbee. If you don't know what that is, it doesn't really matter because you are doing it. Anytime you pull your dog in and block them and kind of wrangle them, right? Like the dog's a little off line, and I pull the dog this way a little bit, and I push him this way, and we get straight in front position. That's a front cross. The dog needs to know the linear vault, a rebound, the difference between a linear vault, a stall, and a rebound. That would be awesome. Super critical thing for baseline foundation. You need setup moves. The dog needs to know how to perform these setup moves. Can I blow that up any bigger so you guys can see? Maybe, yeah. So those disc dog mechanics, they all need to be bulletproof, guys. Bulletproof. Hola. Ooh. I don't think I can pronounce that. I think I would butcher it. My American pronunciation would completely butcher it. But hello from St. Louis, center of the disc dog world. I'll pull up your question here in a second, Ace of Hogan. I'm just going to kind of run through this a little bit. So we have basic disc dog mechanics up here. All of those things should be clear to the dog handler and team, right? And if all of those things are clear to the dog handler and team, you can do lots of things. If any one of them, especially bite, drop, or give, are missing, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You will structure your whole game around that mechanical failing. If you're missing counter within your flat work, you can't work to the left side of the field, right? You might be running your dog left-handed, or forcing your dog to play the game left-handed. Your dog might be a counterclock dog. If you don't have a rear cross, you can get away without a rear cross. If you don't have linear vault, stall, and rebound discriminated, you're going to have a lot of conflation there. When you start getting up into the complicated domain or the complex domain where we're learning things, you're going to have trouble, right? But if top, stall, and rebound are clearly laid out, right? There we are, right there. Top, stall, and rebound clearly laid out. You can learn very quickly, and you can be super competent when you start linking things together. Setup moves, if you don't have any, good luck playing freestyle. You'll be not super spiffy and not very flexible. So yeah, and then on the throwing end, you have to be able to deliver clock and counter throws or clock and counter spins, right? Boom, counter clock, sidearm, push or backhand is going to go clockwise. You have to be able to deliver precision placement. You have to be efficient in loading. I make my throw, I load the next disc, so I'm ready to go again, right? You have to have effective posing. You can get away without this, I guess, but you're going to have a hard time stopping your dog, and your dog is going to have a hard time trusting you to deliver the reinforcement when the time comes. So on the handling end, you need to be able to position yourself essentially switch stances, to position yourself, to tell the dog to come this way, or to tell the dog to come this way, right? If you don't have that, you can get by without it, but you won't have nearly as much control, and you won't be able to communicate well with your dog as far as pressure and movement. Let's see, reading the dog. You have to read the dog, guys. Like if you're running around picking up your disc while your dog, right after your dog is caught all the time, you are not going to know what your dog does after the catch, and you're going to pick up your disc and you're going to like, bang, the dog will be here. If you know how your dog turns, you have a history of reading your dog, you make the throw. I know my dog caught it. Yeah, he's totally going to turn counterclock. I pick up the discs and I look over here and my dog is coming in from the counterclock, right? Super, super important to know what your dog is going to do after the catch. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be running around picking up discs in your routine, but I work with a lot of people, and one of the biggest problems that I see with people is they make the throw and they reflexively jump on the discs, because that must happen. I have to get my discs. And that's true in a routine performance environment. You do need to do that, but you have to learn how to do the routine. You have to learn how your dog moves between tricks. Your routine is 20 seconds of tricks and 1 minute and 40 seconds of the shit that happens between the tricks. 20 seconds of tricks and throws, and 1 minute and 40 seconds of the dog running to get him, the dog flying through the air for the flip, or you guys getting set up. Everything happens between the tricks. So reading the dog, loading discs, stance shifting to pull the dog in the appropriate direction, all super important. You need to know your dog's strong flank and your dog's strong flips, your dog's strong flipping side. Those are handling best practices. They're super, super important. On the dog training end, and I'll just kind of blow through this because it's a big one and we're going to go over this a shit ton of times over the next little bit. Dog training, these behaviors super important for any cooperative endeavor in dog sports. Attention, dismissal, targeting, weight, duration behavior, release cue, position, and some sense of a threshold or place. And attention is eye contact. If the dog gives eye contact for a bite, the dog gives eye contact, hey, let's work, gives eye contact in order to engage with the handler, or gives eye contact to make next happen. Super, super awesome, man. The dog will stop and look at you, right? And now the dog isn't bouncing around and pushing on you and being crazy town and whatnot. Dismissal, you can't have engagement without dismissal. You can't control engagement unless you have the dog turned off beforehand. It's like an on and off switch, right? On and off. If you can't turn it off, you can't turn it on, right? It has to be off before it's on. If your dog comes on the field and it's gangbusters, you might have pretty good engagement most of the time, but you don't own engagement. You don't control engagement. Your dog doesn't understand how to engage. So dismissal, super important. Targeting, the targeting behavior is targeting a disc, right? Or targeting the thing. Most of the time people teach a hand target with the nose. Wow, my dog knows targeting, and that's that. And your dog should know to hand target. Your dog should know to target an object. The dog should know how to target with something other than their nose. And biggest thing with targeting is that it's object discrimination. It's a super, super amazing skill for a dog to have. The weight, the dog has to wait, the handler has to enforce the weight, and that has to be done on dog handler and team. Everybody needs to know how to do that. And weight is not the same as stay or a duration behavior, and that distinction is critical. You have to have position. You have to have front position. It'd be nice to have heel position. And having side position is also kind of nice too. And threshold in place, spot and pedestal, working on a pedestal, working on a ball, stall on my back, don't cross this line. Those things are all super awesome foundational things to have. So the clear best practices should be your foundational skills. They should be completely bulletproof. If a bunch of these didn't resonate with you, oh, I don't have that, I don't have that, I don't have that, you probably got a good look at where you're experiencing trouble or where your trouble is stemming from. I just want to mention over here, all of these things are super important, but we tend to get crazy with our routine and our sequences and all this crazy shit. And what happens is we take all these things for granted. Yeah, of course my dog drops when I tell him to, but we don't notice that every time I tell the dog to drop, I am... Every time I'm telling my dog to drop, drop, I'm loading at the same time, drop, right? And I think my dog knows the drop cue, but that's actually doing the drop cue, right? So a lot of times we take these things for granted, and what happens is the behavior gets away from us, and we think we own it, right? And you can see here on this diagram, all of these lines, you know, nice little black line. Whoops. Let's get back over here. Ooh, that got bigger. I wish it were that big all the time. Oh, come on. So we have a nice little black line here, green line here, right? You got a gray line here. This is a very fuzzy line between clear and between clear and complicated. Let me try that one more time. Such a pain in the ass. It's easy to slip between these two, right? You see this here? This is a very flexible. We can move back and forth pretty easily from there. We don't do it a lot, but we can. This line here, though, you see that that's big and dark and there's a shadow. That's a cliff, all right? Because we take all this shit for granted, what happens is, I know my dog is dropping when I say, because every time I say drop, he drops. Drop, he drops. Drop, he drops. Now my dog is running at me. I don't want him to drop right now, and I get ready and load, and he drops. What the hell? What the hell happened? And we fall from the clear into chaos. There's a cliff there. And that cliff, the things that we take for granted here, drop us immediately into chaos when we blow them, right? Or can drop us immediately into chaos when we blow them. And so not attending to these things or giving them short shrift, not doing a good job on your foundation is just setting you up to fall into chaos and get and struggle, right? I see this all the time. Dude, experience it all the time, right? And I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I'm pretty serious about my foundation, and I fall into that all the frickin' time, man. So we got to attend to that shit over there in the clear, and the complicated as well. We have to know all these things. Sure thing, Guillermo. Let's talk about that. I'll throw that up. We can totally do something like that. So I'm going to wrap up this Cynefin thing here. I'm going to move into the complex domain and kind of talk about what we're actually doing and how the complex domain works and why it's important, and why it's important to separate the complex domain, which is unordered, meaning we don't have controls and we don't have constraints, right? To separate that from the ordered domains over here. So here we go. We're going to jump in on the complex domain. So I think we're here almost all the time in our game of dog frisbee. Okay, this complex domain is where emergent practices come from. This is where creativity happens. This is creativity. Emergent is like not happening yet, or new, fresh. Those practices are coming from the complex domain. Whoa, how did I get that kind of? That was awesome. I wish I could get that all the time. All right. So within the complex domain, we have everything that we don't know how to do, and everything we're troubleshooting to fix lives in this complex domain, right? The complex domain is where we have knowable unknowns, right? So these unknowns that we're confronted with in the game of dog frisbee are knowable, but we don't know them yet. We can't figure them out. And so the complex domain is where all that shit goes down. That's where all our learning happens. That's where all of our figuring out how shit works, how shit actually works, not how we think it works. And it's where emergent new practices, Jam and a Flash is going to be in here, right? Jam and a Flash is going to be in the complex domain. You figuring out how to get your dog to drop is a complex domain situation. You trying to teach your dog a trigger. You trying to get your dog to go the other. Anything that you're trying to get your dog to do is in the complex domain. So I'm going to wrap this up. Here in the best practices, down there at the bottom, you can see we sense, categorize. Gosh darn it. So funny. We sense, categorize. I don't know why that is doing that. Sense, categorize, respond. Okay. So we take a look at what's happening. We look, right? I see that. I know exactly what that is. I'm going to throw it in that bucket and do this. Boom, pow, done. Now that's what the clear domain is. Everybody knows, right? Coming up, Ace of Hogan, I'm gonna hit on the questions. Faux show. Just gonna wrap this up. In the complicated domain, we sense, then we analyze, and then we respond. We sense what's happening. We try to figure it out. That try to figure it out might be reading, might be consulting an expert. It might be just taking a moment to get our shit together and figuring out how we need to address this problem. But we sense, analyze, then we respond. Right? Now, when we get over here into the complicated domain, when we get over here into the to the complex domain, things change. Saludos, buenas noches, Ricardo. Super awesome. A lot of people from Mexico. That's terrific. Hope you guys are doing well down there, that you're staying safe and sane and healthy. So in the complex domain, we're trying to get emergent behaviors, new things, and we're trying to proof things. We're trying to make things better. We're learning. The dog is learning. The team are learning. When we are doing that, what we do is we probe, like a safe to fail experiment. Then we sense what happens. Then we respond. My dog lines up. And he lines up like this, right? And I want him to line up like this. Why is he lining up like this all the time? I don't like that. Well, let's see. How about I try something different, right? Now, I know that I stand like this all the time, and my dog is like this. Well, how about I change that? And that's a probe. That's a safe to fail experiment. In front position, I switch my feet as an experiment to see what happens. And sure as shit, right? If the dog is going this way, here, right? I'm calling him this way with my body. If I switch my feet, he's going to line up. He's no longer going to be here. He'll be out of position here. He'll line up here. Bang! Holy cow! How I have my feet matters, right? And actually, that stance shifting and that pressure is a best practice and a good practice, depending on where you're at or how you're looking at it. And you may or may not know that, but within the complex domain, a safe to fail experiment with your dog being crooked of switching your feet and straightening the dog up can completely teach you that. And so the complex domain is where we learn all our shit and where we experiment and where we figure out how things work. And in order to do that, we probe, sense, and then respond. It's pretty awesome. And let me see. Chaos. I'm just going to hit this real quick. Don't want to be in chaos. It sucks, right? When we're there, act. Doesn't matter what you do. Chaos is a very fleeting moment, right? If we act, we sense what happened, then we respond. When we respond, we amplify or we dampen our response. Or we shift gears and try something else, right? So super, super simple. Act first when you're in chaos. And if you have attention, drop, dismissal, right? A lot of times those three things can be used as your action to get you out of chaos and either bring you up into the complex domain or bring you over here into the complicated domain where we have control. You can escape chaos very easily. Attention, yes, roller, and then dog out, yes, bite. Now we're back in the complicated. I own this shit. Everything's cool. Woohoo. Let's get back to work, buddy. Right? That's pretty awesome. The space in the middle, the A and the C, that is, the C is confused when we don't know what domain we're in. We're here. It's not a good place to be, but it's better than down there in that confusion or in that chaos place. So if we don't know where we're at or we're pushed into not knowing, how should I respond? Is this a new thing? Is this something that we're pretty good at it, that I have control over? Or is this a best practice situation? I don't know. You're in that C spot. This A is called the aporetic state, and it's the same as confusion, except you purposefully put yourself there. You know what? This shit is crazy. I've got it calm, go do dog stuff. I'm going to step right into A. I'm going to step right there, and I'm going to chill out, and I'm going to try and figure out what's going on. And that's super, super awesome. That's what dismissal's for. And it buys you the time and gives you the ability to figure things out and get a plan, right? So there you go. Bunch of shit on the Cynefin framework. I think it's super, super awesome. I now know how to help people make good decisions, and I know how my decisions are being made, and that's pretty cool. So, any questions on that? I will take them gladly, and I'm going to go ahead and run back through chat here. Yep, I did push that up. Don't want to do that. I'm going to run through the chat, pull up some stuff, answer your questions. We'll see what's going on. We'll go from there. And by the way, anyone who wants to can call in and join me on the live stream. All you have to do is hit that DiscDog.Live link that I posted right there. It's in the YouTube and Facebook chat as well. You should be able to find them there. So yeah, if you want to hook up, let's do it. Give me a shout. I'll bring you in on the call. Yeah, right? It is late. It's late here too. But I have internet again. I didn't have internet for 5 days, guys. You don't even know how, oh my gosh, unbelievable that was. Super, super stressful. And it was spotty, so it'd come on and then it disappeared. And it was like zero 0.8 megabits per second. It was terrible. It was horrible. I got a shit ton of stuff to do and I didn't have any internet and it was rough. But here we are and we're doing it again. So, let's see. Ace of Hogan, first question. Ooh, you know what? Where is that? Marker. Right? I hope that, yeah, I can mark that. That'll be sweet. So, Ace of Hogan asks, my BC is 4 months old now. He's doing so good with frisbee catching, multiples and drops really good. And is so good with bringing it up right in my hand. That is awesome. That's a nice improvement. Sounds like you're right on point there. Super stoked for you, Ace of Hogan. That is terrific. And I'm gonna increase my gamma, drop my brightness a little bit. All right. So this is the one I wanted. Any tips on what to do before and after frisbee practice? Yeah. I mean, kind of. What kind of time frame are you talking about before or after? Drop it in chat. I'll come back to that one. I don't know what time frame you're talking about. Let's see. I love these live streams, Ace of Hogan. And I don't know if you guys know, but Ace of Hogan is like a walking compliment machine, which is amazing. It makes you feel amazing. If you ever have a live stream, invite Ace of Hogan. It's super cool. So, excellent question. Bite equals tug. Drop equals leave the disc. But what does give mean? Give means teeth off in my hand. All gives are drops, but not all drops are gives. Okay, and that's a critical distinction. For dog handler and team, right? And often it's the critical thing that your dog needs to really solidify the drop performance. If your dog always drops super far away or never drops until they get right on your feet, knowing that the give only happens here and the drop happens everywhere else is a super powerful skill. I call that mine, by the way. I don't call my cue for it is mine. I call it a give, but when I'm cueing it, I cue mine. And it means teeth off in my hand. Good question, Alejandro. All right. Teething with puppies. Are there any changes I may come into with my 4-month-old Border Collie puppy? Like with frisbee, like teaching, will it affect his bite, or teething, will it affect his bite with discs? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. And at 7 months, your dog is going to go through from 7 to 9 months, your dog is going to go through a secondary fear period. We've gotten to the point now where we do not take puppies that are 7 to 9 months out like purposefully for socialization. If we have the ability to leave the 7 to 9 month old puppy at home when we go to a contest or when we're going out, we do so, right? I like to bubble wrap the dog from 7 to 9 months to try to reduce the likelihood that they're going to see something novel and freak out and have a secondary fear period response. Super awesome. We were in California, and by the way, all dogs, not all dogs, but all breeds, all dogs are likely to have a secondary fear period and to experience something crazy in the secondary fear period. My dog was awesome. He was terrific. I did all the socialization in the world. And now he's terrified of people with hats. Now he's terrified of people with sunglasses. The lone stranger walks up and my dog freaks out. All of those things happen within the secondary fear period. Can happen, not do. Sirens, gunshots, lone strangers, weird type people, uniforms, construction equipment, any of that stuff can completely set a dog off during secondary fear period. We had one of Maggie Elliott's McNabs, a complete stud dog, on Thursday at camp, 7.5, 8 months old. Complete stud, like, holy cow, look at that guy. He is a world beater, right? And Friday morning, he came out of the tent like, what's going on? And it was crazy because he ran into Ricardo. Awesome. He ran into the secondary fear period right then, and we saw it. I saw him the day before, just a complete world beater, confident as all get out, smashing frisbees. 12 hours later, he gets out of the tent and comes to the field, and he's like, what's going on? This is terrifying. And it was at that point in time that we decided not to take our 7 and 9 month old dogs out and play with them. So secondary fear period, super important, Ace of Hogan. You also have developmental stages. Dogs sometimes, young dogs sometimes look like they're little tiny adult athletes. They run around, they bounce around, everything looks amazing. And then for a week or 3, they'll like completely, their rear end will grow like 3 inches from Tuesday to Friday. And then they'll be all gangly and they can't run. So you're going to experience some of those developmental things, and don't play frisbee at that time. If your dog goes from, or if your dog looks like a 15-year-old 6'9" basketball center, a 2-meter tall basketball center, right? 15 years old, you know how they move and they can barely move, right? If they look like that, don't play frisbee with them. They're gonna look like that, most likely at some point in time. Be aware of that. Teething is going to be an issue. Maybe you don't bite things at that time. Let's see. Does anybody else have anything that would hit that? Juvenile flight period. Around the 7 and 9 month old time frame, the juvenile flight period takes place, right? And that juvenile flight period is, where'd you go, Ricardo? I had you in the green room. Call back in. I didn't get the interview chat to you quickly enough, but you were in the green room, so call back in. I'll bring you on. A juvenile flight period, 7 to 9 months as well. Dogs will take off. They'll just go, right? So from 7 to 9 months, 6 to 10 months maybe. I don't like to mess around with that. In that time frame, our dogs are, we don't do it perfectly, but we are on lead a lot. We are only in safe places. We're not taking any chances with, letting the dog out in a parking lot on their own, or, playing in a big open field or something like that. Juvenile flight period's a big one too. Yep. If anyone else has something else to add, please do. I'll riff on it if I can, or I'll ask questions so you can bring that forward. Let's see. Yes, I would, Guillermo. Yes, I would. Let's do it. Hit me up whenever. I'm down on that. All right, Ace of Hogan, more good questions. What would my main priorities be for a 4-month-old Border Collie puppy? Recall, weight, attention, targeting, position, front, heel, and side. Essentially everything that's in that clear zone, that clear domain. Bite, drop, give. Dismissal, very, very important. That he know that I'm off limits sometimes. Super, super important. But everything in that clear domain that you can get. And notice that there aren't a lot of Frisbee things in that clear domain, right? There just aren't. Here, I'll pull it up again. Let me see. Let me switch it to... Bang. Everything in this clear domain... bite, drop, give, that's Frisbee, but it's not just Frisbee. Clock, counter, stop, flank versus pass, front cross, rear cross, linear vault, stall, rebound. All of that can be done without Frisbee. All of it can be done without Frisbees, right? Oh, come on now. You're throwing, yeah, that's all Frisbee shit. Stance shifting, posing, the handling stuff. Loading of disc, that's Frisbee. The other two aren't. Reading the dog, perhaps Frisbee. Yeah, totally Frisbee. The dog's strong flank, strong flip, maybe Frisbee, maybe not. All of the dog training stuff over here on the right, all of this stuff over here on the right is all stuff that needs to be done with a 4-month-old puppy. All of it. All of it needs to be absolute money. Attention, dismissal, targeting, wait, duration behavior, meaning stay until I release you. A wait releases to a conditioned response. Wait, vault, boom. So the vault trigger is the release from a wait. Lie down, for me, means to lie down and stay there. When I tell the dog to lie down, they only release on off or epi. I have a double dog release. First dog's name, Epi, he looks at me. Second dog's name, he comes to me. So that would be the release from a duration behavior. Duration and weight, really important that they're split and your dog, handler, and team know the difference between them. Position and threshold, all of those need to be done by a young dog. Oops, and I kicked that question off. It was, what are your main priorities for a 4-month-old Border Collie puppy? All right. Saludos, Ricardo. You can call back in. Please do. I'd love to have you on. It is at the Digital Dojo on pvibe.com. We are doing this 3 times a week, and we're doing it at this level with 3, 4, 6 people at a time, and it's amazing, man. Everybody's doing a great job. They're learning a shit ton. They know what they're doing, and they're doing it right. So that's pretty awesome. Arnold, you got it, man. You got it. I appreciate that. Thank you for watching, and come hang out whenever. Let's see. Yeah, you need to call in, Ace of Hogan. All right, before and after question. Here we go. So, with the before and after question, like right before we start playing, anything to do that will help. Yes, I got you now. And after a Frisbee session, how do you normally do it, and how do you end a session? That is a terrific question, Ace of Hogan. So, I like repeated entry is really awesome. So, when you go to get your dog out of the car, let's say you're working out of the car, and you go to get your dog out of the car. And you walk up to the car and the dog is going ape shit. Ah, let me out. I want to play Frisbee. This is amazing. Especially puppies. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. Everything's amazing. You can do this without Frisbee as well. Repeated entry. Anytime your dog is excited or over threshold, too high. Repeated entry is a terrific deal. So you take the dog out, you walk to the field, maybe you have your discs in your hand, and you stand there, and you do nothing, and then you put the dog away. And you go back to the field and hang out, or you stand outside the car for 2-3 minutes, and then you take the dog out, walk to the field, stand there, do nothing, go back to the car. And you do that 3 or 4 times, and now the dog, when you go to the car, he's like, ah, shit, man. He's just going to take me out there, and we're going to stand around. It's going to be lame, like, whatever. And now your dog is low and easy, right? And that is really, really awesome for our kind of high-action dog sports. So with us, this came from one of our clients had a pit bull, Emma staying or Emma going. That's how she got her name. Nobody knew if she was going to be kept or not. Mark and Suzanne didn't know if they were going to keep her, so they called her Emma because, you know, Emma staying or Emma going. So Emma would come to class, and she would disrupt the class and be a complete pill and super hard to handle every time we had class. And she came to all our classes. And after 5-10 minutes, the disruption of class would end, and her like full body wiggle and shit would go away. But it was stressful on her handler, it was stressful on her, and it was stressful on the other dogs within the class. So one day I had her do a repeated entry. And so she got out of the car, did eye contact coming out of the car. That's really awesome. Dog gets out of the car, yes, eye contact. That's really awesome. She knew that. We got to the door, and the dog did eye contact at the door, and the dog earned her way into the studio, right? And they stepped in the studio, couple of cookies, couple of pieces of eye contact, dog's going, ah! And they went back out to the car. And she put the dog in the car, and she came back in for 1, 2, 3 minutes, and went out and did it again. And came back, and Emma was about 50% as ape shit. And she did it again, and Emma came back at 25% ape shit. Out to the car, back, and now Emma was flat. Like, oh gosh, this is boring, man. We're gonna walk in, and she could do this and take me back out to the car. It's gonna suck. And then Emma stayed and worked, right? And so we did that for 2 weeks, right? And Emma, what happened was, 2 times, her first session, 2 times out of 4 or 5, she came in cool, super cool and chill. And then the next week, we did like, let's say 5 re-entries, or 5 repeated entries. The next week, she did 3 of them were flat. Only the first 2. And man, the second one wasn't even that bad. And the third week, she had 1 excited entry and 4 chill as all get out entries. And after that, she walked in cool as a cucumber, chill as could be, and went right to work and didn't disrupt our class or frustrate her handler. Repeated entry, super, super powerful. The key to repeated entry is that you don't finish with play, right? You want to break the chain of events from when I know it's going to happen to when it happens, right? So you go to the car, dog knows we're going to play Frisbee. If I do shitload of repeated entries and I go play Frisbee every time, the dog's just going to kind of tamp it down and be like, oh, and then they'll play Frisbee. So what you want to do is go out to the field when you're not going to play one time, or do this out in your backyard. Take them out, hang out, come back in. Take them out, hang out, come back in. Take them out, hang out, come back in. And then don't play. And the dog will realize, this isn't maybe going to go as amazingly as I thought it was. Maybe I should just not get excited because we're probably going to go in and out, and that'll be boring. So, but repeated entry, super awesome. So that's what I got beforehand. After the session, I dismiss the dog. I tell the dog to go do dog stuff. I hang out. If I'm completely free, if we're completely fenced in or whatever, I don't leash the dog up. If I'm in a situation, I leash the dog up. But I dismiss the dog and I let the dog chill out and I'm off limits. I do that in between sessions. So that would be like after a session let or a mini session within my session. We have 1 mini session, 2 mini session, 3 mini session within my full session of work. And that's also how I finish my training sessions. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, 7 to 9 month advice was helpful. Yeah, secondary fear period, real deal, Ace of Hogan, real deal for sure. Let's see. Juvenile flight period is a little crazy. Takes people by surprise. A lot of people don't talk about it. Doesn't happen to all dogs, by the way. Uh-oh. Doesn't happen to all dogs. And it's kind of the, I don't want to call it extreme, but it's kind of like the full version of that like asshole teenager dog stuff, right? Like, I'm going to run away and join the circus. Poof, gone. You know what I mean? That's kind of the extreme of a teenager's rebelliousness. And it does happen with dogs. You need to be careful of that. I like super durable disc, Guillermo. They are able to be played with for years. I play with super arrows, which I think are a good mix between the super durable discs and light plastic. The reason I play with arrows is that they're 120 grams versus 145. 145 gram disc flies too fast and falls too fast. Cultivates too much speed in the dog, and it acts a little too much like a ball. And they run fast, they run hard, and collection and leaping are hard to control. It's also really hard to snap and place. Precision placement with heavy plastic is hard. I mean, it's easy to... Perfect. It's easy to hit. It's easy to hit a spot, right? The distance and the height, that's really easy with heavy plastic. But what is really hard with heavy plastic is time to get it to sit there and to stay there around that area where you want it long enough for the dog, handler, and team to come together to make the catch. And I'm going to pull up an image real quick that I think displays that. And hopefully I can find it quickly. Let me see here. Triad, fingers crossed, guys. There we go. So here, check this out. Okay, so this is throw placement is not only distance and height, it's also time. So Hops is running. I'm going to shrink this a little bit now that you've seen it, if I can. So Hops is running from left. Oops, I'm not mirrored, am I? Hang on. Mirror that bad boy. There we go. So Hops is running from left to right, right? And I've thrown this way. Sorry, this way. So Hops and the disc are meeting right there. And that disc needs to stay right there for a long time. Right? The longer it stays there, the more likely Hops is going to be to jump for it. And the easier it is for him to plan that leap. So we have distance, height, and time with disc placement. And time is really hard to come by with heavy plastic. They don't hover well. They're heavy. In order to throw them out there and stick them and hover them so they hang out a long time on the dog's line, that precision placement, the time aspect of placement, is really difficult with heavy plastic. I'm not nearly as beefy as I used to be, but even when I was like big and powerful, younger guy, heavy plastic was really hard to hover and float at a distance. So the speed stuff is really the only drawback with heavy plastic, in my opinion. I think it's safe. It's just hard to throw. If I can get away with it with the dog, I'm going to play with light plastic or a super arrow. If I have a dog that's just going to shred everything I throw, I'll man up and try and throw heavy plastic to him. So hopefully that's helpful. Okay, so Ace of Hogan is talking about when I say okay, he knows the game is done. That is essentially, that's my all pow, right? That means we're done working. All pow in Pidgin, in Hawaiian, means done working. So that would be that'll do in the sheepdog world. And that'll do or done working is not the same as go to dog stuff, which means I'm off limits. We still might work, but I'm not able to be messed with right now. Just, leave me alone. Do something nice. Maybe you'll get to work later. Having a distinction between dismissal and all pow or okay, we're done working now, is a really important thing. We don't want to tell our dog, hey dude, we're done working, leave me alone, and then 5 minutes later re-engage him. It would be nice to have that okay be a finality thing, and then to have our go to dog stuff mean, hey, we're still working, but I'm off limits. It's a really nice split. This is a great question. Alejandro, what about dogs not really engaging with playing Frisbee? What's your favorite suggestion or move to fix them? I dismiss the dog, right? I get him high. Here's what you do, Alejandro, with anything and engagement. If you want to maintain engagement, if you want to ensure success and create desire for the dog to work, you get on, you get hot, and you get off, right? So you get on, okay, here we go. Dog looks in, yes, let's go to work, right? I like the dog to look in, yes, and now the act of looking in earns engagement with me. First of all, that's really important. So I actually, hang on, let me start over. I dismiss the dog. When I get out of the car, Ace of Hogan, I unhook the leash and I say, go do dog stuff. And the dog would have to bite a child or run in the street to get me to make them do something, right? To get me to stop them from doing something. When I dismiss them, I wait until they do something I like look in. If they're a sniffy dog, when the dog stops sniffing, I mark yes, and where's my cookie? And they get to work with me then. I bring them in for work. If the dog generally just kind of cruises around and dog looks in, yes, and then we work. So stopping sniffing, reorienting to the handler, releasing the environment are all things that earn access to work, right? So I ask the dog to earn engagement, and then I get on. So we're on, we're doing our work, we get hot. I make it super, super exciting. Out, yes, bite. Out, yes, bite. Drop, yes, bite. Twist, yes, bite. Through, yes. Wow, awesome. Out, yes, roller, right? All in 10, 12, 15 seconds, right? Wow, that was amazing. Dog's like, fuck yeah, that was great, man. Go do dog stuff. What do you mean? I don't want to go do dog stuff. I don't want to go do dog stuff. I want to keep doing this. No, I'm sorry, I'm off limits right now. Do something nice and maybe you'll get to work. The dog will be like, pressuring you. I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. Dog walks off. Dog happens to look in. Yes. We get on, we get hot, we get off. We want to get on, get hot, get off, and turn the dog off while they're still super high and successful. Before they're tired, before they're bored, before we have a chance to make a mistake. And then the dog is always turned off before they're ready to stop. And when the dog is habitually not allowed to keep playing, they want to keep playing. So between dismissal, shaping engagement, and get on, get hot, get off, dismiss, engage, get on, get hot, get off, engage, get hot, get off, right? Man, the dog, all they want to do is play, right? Because they're lucky to get to play. And that's exactly the opposite that we do all the time. All the time, we get the dog that doesn't work well, doesn't have a lot of engagement, we get them working and we run them into the dirt. We work them until they walk off the field. And then their experience is, I work until I quit. The one thing that will happen when I'm working is I'm going to work and then I'm going to quit. And then they start to look for quitting opportunities earlier and earlier within the game. And when we turn them off before they are ready to quit, they really, really want to play the game. So hopefully that's a good answer. Yep, repeated entry is really cool, Ace of Hogan. Repeated entry will not damage it won't damage anything. Won't damage anything. Don't worry about it. You don't need to do it every day. Trying to think of like how many times I would have to do it. Situationally, I might have to repeat it, right? Like with Frisbee, I don't know, 2 weeks of repeated entry, 20% of the time leading to no play, right? Let's say it's 5 repeated entries each time we do it. So day one, I repeat the entry. Day one, I repeat the entry 5 times and we don't play. Day 2, maybe it's raining. I repeat the entry 5 times and we don't play. Day 3, I repeat the entry 5 times, dismiss the dog, and then we play. Day 4, I walk out and play. I don't have time to repeated entry. Day 5, I repeated entry. Session 5, let's not say 5 days in a row, right? Session 5, I repeated entry, we don't play. Session 6, I repeated entry, we play. Session 7, I repeated entry, we play. Session 8, we play. And then I would revisit it, right? Now, all that stuff, now my dog is pretty chill going to the Frisbee field. Maybe I repeated entry at the first big contest I go to. Maybe I repeated entry at an agility trial where I'm not going to play. By the way, that's a terrific place to do it. When you don't have anything to do with the dog, our young dogs walk around the Frisbee field at a big competition 4 or 5 times before they ever play on the field. That's really awesome. Then they realize that, you know, the competition field is not ape shit all about me. It's actually like going to be super boring. It's a form of repeated entry. You realize your dog is excited when going to training class. You do the repeated entry at your training center. And then you just do the repeated entry as you need to. Hopefully that's helpful. Yep, Hero Pup Discs are good. I like the Adams, the Hero Adams. I'm not a huge fan of the K10 pups. They're not bad, but they're really heavy. They move fast. They don't perform as well as the Adams. like they're not as, they're kind of like a, they're kind of like a bomber jet, right? They're like a bomber jet, slow and maybe it goes fast, but it just goes straight. The atoms are much more like a fighter jet. They're a lot more, they're shapeable, they're more agile, they're more sticky in the air. I think they have more dynamic flight principles. The pups have very stable and reliable performance attributes, right? The atoms are much more dynamic. So hopefully that's helpful. Right on, Guillermo. Ace of Hogan, here we go again. What do you do when the puppy gets super vocal? My BC puppy went in the crate and sees me, he gets vocal, but when I'm not around, he's quiet. Okay, so I do consequent hooding with with crate problems. I also do a free shape down in the crate. So consequent hooding, the dog barks, I walk over, I drop, I put a blanket or something over the crate, right, all over it, and I lift the front up so we can see out the front door. And then dog barks, I walk right over, I pull the hood down so he can't see anything. I get several moments of quiet. I announce good quiet. I walk over. I open up the hood. I turn to walk away. The dog barks. I shut the hood. I get several moments of quiet. I announce good quiet. And I kind of stomp over there, right? And I open up the hood, right? I leave. I sit down. The dog barks. I stand right up. The dog's barking makes me stand up, walk over, shut the hood. What the dog learns is when I bark, I lose access to visibility to everything. And when I'm quiet, visibility comes back. And he'll test you. He'll totally ask a question. You'll open that thing up and he'll look right at you and go, woof. And you'll shut that thing and he'll go, wow, she really does. The hood really comes down when I bark. Whoa. You know, and then he'll sit quietly and he'll announce good quiet and you'll open it up and he'll go, oh my gosh, you mean when I'm quiet I get to see? And when I was told this technique back in the day, C was terrible in her crate and she barked a lot and she wasn't even able to see anything. She was kind of pointed it away from everything. And I was like, that's bullshit. It ain't gonna work, man. Like, she doesn't even care. She can't see anything. Who cares? But she had control over her environment. And it's not the fact that they can see, it's the fact that they have control that's important to them. And so they learn that they affect their consequence with vocalization negatively, and they affect their consequence with silence positively. And it's pretty awesome. More amazing compliments from Ace of Hogan. Thank you, Ace of Hogan. Yeah, you should do Frisbee 3-4 days a week max, right? And then if you're super diehard, you should do your foundation training as a 10-15 minute session as a ritual with your dog, so that you can get time off. You want to have no more than four days in a row, maybe 5 days in a row in a big huge pull, but then you'll need a couple days off. Yep. So, good question, Alejandro. Dismiss the dog. I'll show you. I will show you. So Epi is Epi. Where are you, Epi? Ep. Before I do this, I'm gonna have to put King away or Mango away because Epi will probably bash him. In and in. Good man. King-a-ling. Up, in and in. King, up. Yes, good man. Whoa, Epi. And now hopefully the geriatrics don't come out. So I'm going to grab a couple cookies. Right? So let me see here. Do-do-ba-do-ba-do. Hang on, Epi. Clean out this bag. Just getting a treat bag. All right, looks like we're good. Okay, so up. Easy. That's nice. Pretty. Off, yes. Off, yes. Through? Yes, good man. Awesome. Go to dog stuff. So go to dog stuff is dismissal, right? And you can see that Epi immediately disengaged, right? He knows what go to dog stuff means. But what you're going to see here is that he is going to check in several times, right? And he's checking in with me, right? And I can look at him. I'm looking at him right now. And so if he looks at me, he can see that his eye contact isn't going to work. He would have to bite a child or run into the street to get my attention right now, or to make me interact with him, right? And you can see that he's pushing up on me. He's like, let's do something, Don. I don't want to do something right now. We're dismissed, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for him. All of this stuff he's doing right now, this is hard work, right? He's doing hard work. He's pressuring me. King-a-ling, zip, right? He's trying to make me interact with him. He's shaping me, right? Hey, how about I do this? How about I do that? How about I do this? Give me a cookie. Give me a cookie. I want to do the thing, right? I don't want that. So I'm going to wait for him to disengage. There's disengagement. When he looks at me softly, I'm going to switch cameras so you can see it. When he works me softly, right? This is not soft work, by the way. I wish I could change my camera from here. So, yes, he gives eye contact. Then we get back to work. Makai, yes. Scoot, yes. Wait, dog catch. Boom. Yes, good man. Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Great work, Epi. Go do dog stuff. And now, I'm done working with him. That's dismissal, right? And the fact that he leaves me alone, and he's going to now try and perform soft work on me, right? I'm not going to take, like, your dog, all of our dogs who are positive trained dogs, they know that their behavior makes things happen, right? So they learn, boom, eye contact, yeah. And I say yes, and I give them a cookie. I like that action. And they learn that they're making this action happen, right? I make the action happen. Go do dog stuff, and the dog can't make action happen. His action, his hard action of cranking on me and trying to make me do it, right? That's kind of nice right there. I like that. Yes, up. Yes, so his soft attention there, right, earned the opportunity to get up here in this thing. So he's going to perform off. Awesome. Go do dog stuff. He's going to perform soft attention frequently, right? So now I would be surprised if I would be surprised if he jumps up on the pedestal all excited as he did earlier. He's going to troll around and he's going to try and figure out how to engage me. Yes, good man. Without making me do it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense, Alejandro. That is dismissal, though. And it is different from we're done working, right? Because right now, he's trying to work me with nice, soft work. This is a little aggressive, a little hard in terms of work. This is like, you know, you see his lip up. He's like pegged on me. If this were a dog that were really low on the drive scale, I would take this. A dog that is difficult to engage or has engagement problems, I want to reinforce the hardest work. I want to reinforce, oh, come on, Epi, do something to me. Oh my gosh, did you really do that on your own? Holy cow, that was amazing, right? So with a dog who is hard to engage, this kind of stuff here, where he's pressuring me and trying to make me work, I want that out of a low drive dog, right? But out of a high drive dog, I don't want this shit, man. This shit's got to stop, right? I don't want him to be pressuring me all the time. I can't be dealing with that, right? So dismissal works for dogs that are super high drive. We're able to cultivate soft work. So this would be hard work, right? Like, he's like, come on, Ron, let's do the thing. I'm going to get in your business and I'm going to do everything I can to make us play. And so for a low drive dog, this is good. But for a high drive dog, this is a pain in the ass. With the high drive dog, off, go do dog stuff. With the high drive dog, I want to get, oh, what are you doing, C? What are you doing, old lady? What are you doing? Do you want some cookies? Yeah. With the low drive, or with the high drive dog, I want to get soft work. And it doesn't look like Epi's actually going to leave. He doesn't have to leave, by the way. And I can look at him, right, while he's dismissed, and that'll just prove that this hard eye contact here isn't working, right? I don't want to do this. This is what a lot of people try and do when they dismiss. Oh, no, I'm off limits. And it's just too crude. It doesn't, and the dogs, when you try and throw it on them initially, they think you're weird. And it doesn't work. You'll freak out a low drive dog. They'll be like, oh God, my human's broken. But you can actually, if you were here, you could see that he's softening up in his work to get interaction with me. But he hasn't disengaged since my dismissal cue. It's probably because we don't work a lot of cookies these days, and cookies are pretty exciting. So he would have to, I would have to do a little more work. But you know what? I don't care, because he's dismissed. I'm off limits. Why do I care? Right? If he gets in my business, I will just close off to him, and I'll deal with you guys here. Right? And so I can now wait for him to go do whatever the hell he wants to do. Right? As soon as he releases me, then I can shape him back in to play the game. Hey, King, that'll do. And hopefully that's helpful, Alejandro. No Ace of Hogan. He's epic. He's not awesome. He's epic. Get it right. Right? So he just dismissed, and now he's strolling around. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture soft work, and I'm going to try and make this happen. Nope. Now he came up, and he bum rushed me. I'm not taking this. I don't want this kind of pressure from him. And so I'm going to close off to him, right? And I'm going to allow him to disengage. And now I'm going to capture this really nice soft work that he's going to give me. So again, I'm closed off to him, you can see. And he's disengaged right now. When he looks at me, yes, oh my gosh, that was amazing, right? So he disengaged, looked away, and he looked in like, he's looking over here, right? And he looked in like, hey, and I marked that. And so now this soft with no intent is what works. The shit he's doing right now, right? Go do dog stuff, doesn't work, right? And so I don't want this hard attention. I want soft attention out of him. If I had a low drive dog, I would totally take this shit, man. Anytime my dog is super engaged in firing, I would take that. All right, couple more questions, and then I think I'm going to get out of here. Yep, holy cow. Woo! We're going to be on. We'll go till 1 a.m. Midnight Disc Dog for real. So Ace Pogan has another good question. What about jumping with a 4-month-old puppy? He jumps a lot, not ass, but just naturally. If he is like a powerful athlete and he's firing at 4 months and he's doing all the shit, I'm going to limit his frisbee play, right? But I'm going to limit his frisbee play. When I play with him, I'm going to keep it at what I would consider his normal leaping height. Okay, he's running around the house. He jumps over stuff. He jumps this high in the house, right? He jumps this high in the house. He jumps on the couch. He jumps over the end table to get on the couch. Woo, zoomies, puppy shit, right? If that's going on, I'm going to read that height, that intensity, and within my frisbee, I'm going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to make it happen, but I'm going to allow it, right? I'm not going to like keep everything on the ground. I'm certainly not going to throw it super low off the ground so he never jumps and he runs 1,000,000 miles an hour to go get it. But I'm not going to throw it high to make him leap either, right? I'm just going to play with him. And as long as he's within that scale that he does kind of naturally at the house, that's going to be okay. Here's the thing. You can't do it every day. He can't do it like that every day. Repetitive stress is the problem, right? Repetitive stress is what you want to avoid. So that means not a lot of frisbee. That means way more foundation, much more stuff in the clear zone of attention, dismissal, targeting, weight, duration, position, threshold, spot, place, bite, drop, give, flat work. Absolutely terrific for young dogs, right? You can run the shit out of them and not give them a ton of throws. Not give them the opportunities to leap, and they learn how to move with you, and they learn how to start and stop, and I can put them in different angles and positions to show them how to do the game. All of your setup moves, around, through, backwards through, scoot, spin and twist, all of them to bite, through, yes, bite, twist, yes, bite, awesome, out, yes, roller, whoa, you're amazing. Pull the dog around, make a throw. He makes a tiny little leap. Awesome. He comes in. We do some bite work. Awesome. Go do dog stuff. There's a 2-minute session with 3 natural puppy leaps. Shit ton of stuff that makes him a great teammate and teaches him how to do this thing with me. The flat work, the setup moves, that kind of work teaches the dog to play within himself. If I go out and I send the dog around and I whip it out there 40 yards, the dog just runs like an animal. No controls, no constraints. Just, I get it, I smash it. And now the dog is running super fast. I threw it 40 yards. I can't ensure. He's super fast, and now he leaps super high, right? So, small stuff. If he is a big athlete, allow it to happen. Don't artificially inflate it, and keep the reps and the sessions that include that activity to a minimum. And here's why I want to do that. I want the dog to experience how to play the game of Frisbee in totality, ideally, before they're 18 months old. I want them to know how to do all of it before they're a full-blown adult and I start doing shit like up here, right? I want the dog to know how things work before we do the large-scale stuff. And I'll give you an example. I was a cheerleader in college. I come from a springboard diving background, right? So I was a springboard diver, state finalist and whatnot. I knew how to flip. I knew how to do gymnastics, but vertically, and land on my hands, right? That was my gig. I was good at that, right? This dude, Mike Johnson, was on our cheerleading squad, and he was 6'4", 240 pounds, a friggin' beast. Holy shit, beast. He'd do round off, back handspring, or round off, back tuck, right? When he did a backflip when he was tumbling, nobody could touch him. His body was 9 feet in the air, right? And he didn't know how to do that shit. And he was 240 pounds, right? That's not the time to learn that. Mike Johnson needed to learn that skill when he was 50 pounds, could jump this high, and when he fell on his head, he had to deal with this much of a fall and 40 pounds on top of his head, right? Versus falling from 10 feet with 240 pounds on top of him, right? So I like to exercise the dog and teach them the skills at a small level with very low repetition. And then I like to take those skills and build them through 18 months, right? I don't want to, if you throw rollers all the time to your dog runs 1,000,000 miles an hour. If your dog runs 1,000,000 miles an hour, they can't collect, they can't be safe. The lower you throw it, the faster they run, the harder they run, right? I know dogs in Europe in the early aughts, they were not allowed to do anything but rollers until 18 months, and all of their dogs over-pursued, dangerously over-pursued. And then at 18 months, they're magically now okay to do that, and they have no skills with which to do it. They're running too fast, they don't know how to collect, they don't even know how to look up for the target, right? So hopefully that's helpful. You don't want to accentuate it. You don't want to over-exercise it. And in my opinion, you don't want to avoid it either. And hopefully that makes sense. And yeah, cool. Yep, and rollers and low throws are perfectly okay. So Ace of Hogan said, I do low throws, but sometimes he gets high. It's totally okay. Rollers are awesome. Rollers are awesome, unless that's all you do, right? You have to get him slow. You have to get him looking up as well. Yeah. All right. Yep, so this is a good one. Another question. He does anything he knows with treats. Epi, I can't reach it. Thank you. Go to dog stuff. I have to pick these up, or he's going to pick up every one. All right, so what do we got on this one? He does anything he knows with treats like tricks, but won't with a toy because he just wants to fetch it. This is handler and team. This problem has nothing to do with the dog, right? The dog is just doing what you're allowing him to. So what I would recommend would be to start with eye contact. Attention, he gives attention. Yes, bite. Stand there and wait. He gives attention. Yes, bite. He gives attention. Yes, roller. Right? He gives attention. Yes, through. Yes, bite. Right? We can shape, we can use attention to shape the idea that we're going to do things together. You're going to do something before you get the cookie. The other thing I think is rather important is, hang on, I lost my train of thought. Let me see. So, the other thing that's really important is to treat your play like a cookie session, right? So when I tell Epi yes for eye contact and I reach into my cookie bag, you see him come up? He's not allowed to do that, right? When I go into the cookie bag, he's not allowed to do that. He knows not to go in the cookie bag. And keep in mind, he's super fucking excited for cookies because I don't ever work with cookies anymore, right? But I say yes, and then I reach in the cookie bag, and then the cookie comes out, and then it happens, right? I don't say yes and give him a cookie as quickly as I can. Or I don't say, Ep. I don't say, any minute now, yes, and put it in his face, right? The reason that I'm saying yes is so I can delay reinforcement. Yes, and then I give him his cookie, right? He doesn't get to get the cookie until I give it to him, right? And what happens with our game of disc is that I say yes and the dog pounds the frisbee, or I say yes and I throw it like yes, boom, and I puke that out, or I don't mark at all. And now there's no connection to cookie training, right? If there's no connection to cookie training, why would I do the behavior before I get the disc? It just doesn't make sense, Ace of Hogan. Does not make sense, right? If I tie the cookie training into the frisbee training, yes, then I reach in my cookie bag, then I give him the cookie, and he knows that's how it works. And we have through yes into the cookie bag, then he gets the cookie, right? I can then very easily go, I can't use that disc or it'll get here's one. So here I have the toy through yes. Do you see how it's exactly the same? Mine. Hey, yes. Twist. Yes. Right? That's exactly cookie training. And if my frisbee training, whoa, dude, whoa. Awesome, go to dog style. If my frisbee training is exactly like my cookie training, then all of our interactions happen the same way, right? So again, you saw the dismissal. He stops, he trolled around, he looks up expectantly, but not like pressuring me. He's not jumping around. I want to do the thing, right? But I don't give a shit because he's dismissed and I'm busy. And he'd have to bite a child or run in the street in order to get my attention right now. Something super, super bad. Yeah, totally. Epi wouldn't know what to do with a handler that puked things out. He completely doesn't expect that. I don't even know if he would take advantage of somebody. He probably would. It would take a while for him to take advantage of them. Yep, mine too. I'm really digging it, and I'm hoping I'm gonna start like planning them out and bringing people on. I have to get everything together. I have a new camera coming. Wait till you see next, well, maybe not the next stream, but the stream after this next one is going to be badass, I hope. I have a really nice camcorder, the one that I filmed the USDDN, I live streamed the USDDN with. It's great for on the field, and I was using it here, and it's really nice. It friggin' broke, dude, at the USDDN. Somewhere on the way home or something, I don't know, it broke. I had to send it in, and maybe it can be repaired. It's a very nice camcorder, and it does well with distance and zooming and all that shit. It's a nice camera from like 2012, but it's old. And I'm not sure if it's going to be able to be repaired. It's going to cost me $150 to figure out if it can be repaired, and I got to send it off, and it'll probably take forever. But I got a new camera coming, so this is kind of nice quality. We're going to have badass quality soon. And we'll be bringing people in, and as soon as... so the website has an app, and it's pretty cool. I would recommend downloading it. It's Positive Vibe on the Apple Store or the Play Store, Google Play Store. It's a pretty cool app. It's got messaging and kind of little social network thing, and we got groups and classes and all that shit that's on there. I haven't pushed it and publicized it very much because it's in the next month or two, we're going to have like absolute instant messaging where, you know, just like Facebook instant messaging. And right now, the instant messaging isn't very instant. You have to refresh in order for you to communicate with somebody. And I'm just kind of holding off until that instant messaging happens, because as soon as that happens, the site will be, it'll be a little slower than Facebook, but it'll be functional like Facebook. And I think a lot of people are done with Facebook. I'm done with Facebook. So as soon as we get that, I will be like completely pushing all of this really hard. Yeah, you'll have to get the app. You should get on there, and there are some free classes. Patrons of Positive Vibe, I'm going to pull that up. Patrons of Positive Vibe at the Cup of Joe level or above get access to DiscDog class. We have 2 classes per week with DiscDog. That is our practical Frisbee foundation. At $10, you get all of the kind of the base level classes, bite work. $10 per month, you get bite work, foundation, DiscDog, sequence building, and I think that's it. And then at $25 per month, you get all of our classes. And there are other goodies involved too, ebooks and whatnot. So, what top question? Ooh, ending with tug. Let me see. Getting close to the end. Okay, so I would let him win it and quit there. I wouldn't either. I would tell him mine. Yes, awesome, go to dog stuff, right? Or I would, I'll show you. Either I would do this. Yes, awesome, go to dog stuff. Wow, that was amazing. Oh, that camera's dead. Hang on. Mine. Either I would, oh yeah, oh yes, awesome, go to dog stuff. So he wins, and I would send him off, dismiss him with the disc in his hand, or, you know, and then wrangle him sometime later, mine. Or I would go, yeah, good work, oh my gosh, that's amazing, mine. Yes, good man, wow, that was great, go to dog stuff. Either I would get the give, or I would let him take it. I would not let him drop it in my hand. I want to cue the give, or I want him to win. If he starts to just let it go and either get something exciting, or gets an a response from me, he's going to be likely to let it go. And it could actually flip the other way as well with that situation. If he lets it, if he realizes that letting it go ends the game, he might have a real problem with give. So hopefully that's helpful. And as far as guitar stuff goes, I just pick and grin, really. I'm more of an acoustic player and a really shitty vocalist. But I like it, so I've been playing the electric guitar a little bit. I don't know. I don't play much. I got like 5 or 7 songs on the electric guitar that I'm playing with. I'm doing a lot of music. Zip, zip, zip. I'm doing a lot of music stuff, though. I'm trying to learn some music theory, circle of fifths and shit. I've been around it a lot and been very close to learning it. This little MIDI board here is awesome. Like, I can play chords with both hands, right? And I know the 1, 4, 5 and 1, 6, 2, 5. I think the chord progression stuff. I'm dialing that in and taking it from the keyboard to the guitar, and it's making me a better guitarist and a better musician. So. Yep. Oh, ukulele. Yep. Super fun instrument. Really dig. I lived in Hawaii, so it's kind of mandatory that I dig the ukulele. So, all right, I think that is gonna do it for tonight, guys. We're right on for a 2-hour stream, so that was super cool. Ace of Hogan, thank you for all the questions and for the super awesome compliments. And our Mexican visitors, thanks a bunch for dropping in. You're welcome to do so anytime. And if I know you're coming or I have something planned, I'll try to do a better job of talking slowly and trying to deliver English to somebody who's not a native speaker. I actually can do that and do that fairly well. I just have to work at it, and I think it's hard for me to ad-lib or to not have a plan and be really clear like that. But I'll try and do better to make it easier to understand for people who don't speak English as a first language. All right. I'm going to hold you to that. Ace of Hogan. All right, so I'm going to play a meme roll to play us out. And actually, I'll probably show... I'm going to do the Epi Dark Side dealio from this weekend. And then I will play us out with a meme roll. So see you guys soon. Hook up with us on Patreon, please. I just dropped a shit ton of money on cameras that I completely don't have, but it had to be done. I need to keep moving forward with this live stream thing. I got a plan on this. Could definitely use the support. Be working hard to bring out great content and good dog training and DiscDog stuff. Hook up with us on the website. pvibe.com. Download the app. And don't be shy. Hit me up whenever. Cool. Talk to you later. All right. Gonna play us out with Epi doing some amazing stuff and then a meme roll. See you guys soon.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Uh-oh. That didn't work. I gotta pick another meme roll. Sorry, I blew it.